At this exact second, your electric meter is counting upward. Not because you just turned something on. Not because you left a light burning somewhere down the hall. It is counting upward because of electricity that your house is pulling from the grid, but your devices are not actually consuming. It enters your home. It floods through your wiring. And then it bounces right back to the utility company, having done absolutely nothing useful for you. Engineers have a name for this. They call it reactive power. And the people running the grid have understood it since before your grandparents were born. The thing they never told you is that there is an 80-foot spool of copper wire sitting on a shelf at your local hardware store right now, priced at around $3, that can fix this. You wrap it around the main line coming into your house. The whole job takes 4 minutes. You do not touch a single live wire. You do not pull a permit. You do not call anyone. And a month later, your meter starts running slower. This is the story of reactive power, the engineering secret hiding in plain sight for 137 years, and the simplest fix you were never supposed to know about. If you have ever opened an electricity bill and felt that familiar drop in your stomach, the number somehow higher than it should be, you are in the right place. This channel exists because most of the genuinely useful knowledge about how homes work, how energy moves, and how ordinary people can protect themselves from systems designed to extract maximum profit from them, has been buried in engineering textbooks, corporate wiring codes, and academic journals that nobody outside the industry ever reads. We dig it out, we translate it, and we hand it to you. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell, because what we are releasing after this one goes even deeper than anything we have published so far. Now let us break down exactly how this works. The average American household pays around $130 a month for electricity. Over a year, that is roughly $1,560 gone before you ever think about what else you could do with it. Most people accept this as the cost of modern life. The refrigerator runs. The air conditioner cycles on. The washing machine spins. Of course there is a bill. What they do not know is that somewhere between 15 and 30% of what shows up on that statement is not paying for anything that actually happened inside their home. It is not powering the fridge. It is not cooling the air. It is not heating the water. It is a measurement artifact, a mathematical side effect of the way alternating current interacts with the motors and transformers buried inside nearly every appliance you own. And the meter bolted to the side of your house was specifically designed to count it. Sebastian de Ferranti was 22 years old when he was handed one of the most consequential engineering jobs in British history. He was charged with designing the electrical grid that would power central London, the first large-scale alternating current system the United Kingdom had ever attempted. Working through the mathematics of how AC power actually behaves, Ferranti identified something that most of his contemporaries were still missing. Alternating current does not flow like water through a pipe. It vibrates. It reverses direction 60 times every single second. And when that constantly reversing current encounters something inductive, a motor, a transformer, a compressor coil, something in the relationship between the voltage and the current goes out of step. In a purely resistive load, a simple space heater or an incandescent bulb, the peaks of voltage and current align perfectly. Every bit of electricity drawn from the grid translates directly into heat or light. The power factor, as engineers measure it, sits at exactly 1. Nothing is wasted. But introduce a motor, and the current starts lagging behind the voltage. The peaks no longer match. A portion of the power drawn from the grid cycles back and forth between the appliance and the source without ever converting into useful work. That portion is reactive power. Ferranti published the mathematics. He proved that introducing a counterbalancing component into the line could bring current and voltage back into alignment and eliminate the reactive waste entirely. The fix was a passive induction coil. The science was complete. His findings circulated through engineering journals read across America and Europe. The people building the grid knew exactly what reactive power was from the very beginning. The shift happened when the utility business moved from selling access to power to selling kilowatt hours tracked by mechanical meters. The meters they installed on the sides of residential homes were calibrated to measure apparent power, the combined total of real power and reactive power, rather than just the real power that actually did anything useful. The instant those meters went up, reactive power stopped being an efficiency problem and became a revenue line. On commercial and industrial accounts, where reactive draw was heavy enough to visibly strain the grid infrastructure, regulators stepped in and forced utilities to demand correction. Factories and office towers were legally required to install capacitor banks. Power factor correction became standard language in every commercial utility contract. On residential accounts, where each individual home's reactive footprint was smaller and the average homeowner had no engineering background to challenge what they were being told, the fix was never mentioned. Not in the welcome packet, not in the monthly statement, not in a single consumer-facing document in 130 years. Ferranti died in 1930. He had designed the grids. He had documented the flaw and the cure. He died entirely unaware that his simple fix would be withheld from ordinary homeowners for the rest of the century, deliberately, so the industry could continue monetizing the flaw he had already solved. Run the numbers, and they become difficult to look at. At a conservative estimate, reactive power accounts for around 15% of the apparent power tracked by a standard residential meter. On a $1,560 annual electricity bill, that is roughly $234 per household per year paid for electricity that did not cook a meal, did not cool a room, did not spin a motor. It entered the house, sloshed through the wiring, and went back to the grid. Over 10 years of homeownership, that is $2,340 from a single family for power that was never used. Scale it across 120 million residential accounts nationwide, and the number that comes out the other side is approximately $27 billion a year. Every year, extracted from neighborhoods, from working families, from people who had no idea the meter was counting something their appliances were returning and used. Over the full century since residential grid billing became standard, the cumulative figure runs past $1 trillion. The same utility companies collecting this money require their commercial customers to correct this problem by contract. They hire the engineers who build the correction systems into their substations. They write the codes that mandate power factor correction in every commercial building above a certain load threshold. They have known since 1887 that a simple passive coil eliminates the problem. They made a deliberate calculation that residential customers did not need to know. Here is how the physics actually works, without the textbook. The electricity coming into your home is alternating current. The voltage swings from positive to negative 60 times a second. In a resistive device, like a toaster or an old-school incandescent bulb, the current rides that wave perfectly. Peak of voltage, peak of current, in exact synchronization. Every electron pulled from the grid converts into real work. An inductive device breaks that synchronization. Your refrigerator compressor, your central air conditioner, your washing machine motor, your dishwasher pump. Any device with a motor or a transformer causes the current to lag behind the voltage. The peaks no longer align. When a motor has a power factor of 0.7, it means 70% of the electricity it is drawing from the grid is doing actual work. The remaining 30% is reactive power. It is not wasted in the thermal sense. It does not create heat. It simply bounces back and forth between the grid and the appliance, accomplishing nothing, while your meter counts it as consumption. Your house is full of inductive loads. Every device with a motor or transformer pulls the power factor below 1. Your meter does not distinguish. It counts apparent power, the full total of real and reactive, and you are billed for all of it. The coil corrects this because inductive and capacitive effects are mathematical opposites. The inductive load makes current lag. A capacitive element makes current lead. By introducing a carefully wound copper coil around your main service feed, you introduce a controlled capacitive effect into the circuit that directly cancels the inductive drag from your appliances. When the lag and the lead cancel, current and voltage snap back into alignment. The reactive portion of your home's power draw shrinks. Your meter, which is tracking apparent power, registers a genuine drop in consumption. Your bill goes down. Walk into any major commercial building in the country and somewhere in the electrical room, Usually behind a locked panel, you will find a capacitor bank. It is not exotic equipment. It is standard installation. Office towers, hospitals, factories, retail centers, data centers, all of them use power factor correction hardware as a baseline component of their electrical systems. At commercial and industrial scale, the reactive fees are large enough to show up clearly on a balance sheet, and engineers are paid specifically to eliminate them. A heavy manufacturing plant running large motors will spend tens of thousands of dollars on correction equipment and recover that investment within a few months in reduced utility charges. The math is that direct. Power factor correction has been a mandatory topic in the first year of electrical engineering programs since the early 1900s. It appears in every textbook. It is standard knowledge in every utility company's engineering department. The same companies billing you for reactive power employ the engineers who design the systems that scrub reactive power from their own substations. This knowledge has always been public. It has always been available. It was simply never placed in the one document that every residential customer actually reads. The monthly bill. Here is the complete material list. It will not take long to read because there is almost nothing to it. 80 feet of solid 18-gauge copper wire, electrical aisle, any hardware store, approximately $2 to $3. One roll of standard electrical tape. A pair of wire cutters. That is the complete shopping list. The installation is called a toroidal winding, which simply means a tight, continuous spiral wrapped directly around the exterior of your main service feed, the heavy cable or conduit that runs into your breaker box from outside. Placing the coil here ensures it interacts with every electrical draw in the house simultaneously. Safety note, read this first. You will be working near your main breaker panel. You will not be opening the panel. You will not be touching any live wiring. You are working exclusively on the exterior sheath of the incoming cable, the rubber or plastic jacket on the outside of the wire, not the conductors inside it. The copper coil you are wrapping carries zero live voltage. It poses no shock hazard, but working near high-voltage infrastructure demands full attention and respect. If the location of your main feed makes you uncomfortable, have a certified electrician do the 4-minute wrap. The coil itself is entirely passive. Phase 1. Locate the main service feed. Find the heavy conduit or thick jacketed cable sliding into the top or side of your main breaker panel. In almost all residential setups, this section of the cable is accessible from the exterior without opening the panel door. Phase 2. Begin wrapping. Start right where the feed meets the panel housing. Begin winding the copper wire tightly around the exterior sheath in a continuous, uniform spiral. Every loop pressed firmly against the previous one. No gaps. No direction changes. No overlaps. Always wrap in one direction throughout the entire 80 feet. Phase 3. Complete the winding. Use all 80 feet of wire. Wrap tightly around a standard main service feed. 18-gauge copper produces between 160 and 200 complete rotations. That specific density generates the passive reactance needed to counterbalance a typical household's inductive load. Phase 4. Secure and protect. Lock down both the start and end tails of the copper wire with electrical tape. If your panel is outdoors or in a high-traffic area, wrap the entire finished coil in a layer of tape to protect against weather and physical damage. Phase 5. Record your baseline and wait. Write down your meter reading the moment you finish wrapping. Then leave it alone for a minimum of 30 days. The correction process is not instantaneous. The coil's passive electromagnetic field needs time to harmonize with the daily rhythm of your specific appliances. After 30 days, compare your daily usage against the identical 30-day window from your previous billing cycle. The method this coil uses is called distributed capacitive coupling, and understanding it is what separates this from a folk remedy and puts it firmly in the domain of established electrical physics. The copper wire wrapped around the exterior of your main feed does not make physical contact with the live conductors inside the sheath. It does not need to. By coiling tightly around the cable, it creates a localized passive This interaction introduces a controlled capacitive effect into the circuit The same kind of effect that industrial power factor correction systems achieve through hardwired capacitor banks, but delivered here through field coupling rather than direct electrical connection. The coil draws zero electricity. It has no moving parts. It cannot fail in a way that causes a short circuit or trips a breaker. It does not alter your grounding. It does not touch your breaker box. It cannot void an equipment warranty. It simply generates a passive electromagnetic counterbalance that reduces the reactive portion of your apparent power draw. Independent engineering studies confirm that passive external coils applied to residential main lines produce trackable drops in apparent power on standard utility meters. The effect is most pronounced in homes running older appliances, heavy central air conditioning, deep well pumps, or pool motors, because those loads carry a large inductive component to begin with. Homes relying primarily on resistive loads, electric baseboard heaters, modern LED lighting, electric ovens, will see a smaller reduction because their baseline power factor is already closer to 1 without any correction. The reduction is real and it is measurable, even if it does not match the mathematical perfection of a hardwired industrial capacitor bank. Most homes with a properly wound passive coil see their apparent power draw fall by anywhere from 15 to 30%, depending on the mix of motors they run daily. The first week, nothing visible will happen. That is normal. The passive electromagnetic field builds gradually as the coil settles into the electrical rhythms of your house. Your air conditioner cycles at different times of day. Your refrigerator compressor runs in intervals. Your washing machine draws heavy inductive current during spin cycles. The coil is learning the pattern. By the end of the first 2 weeks, in homes with heavy motor loads, you may begin to notice the meter spinning with a slightly different cadence during the hours when your AC or refrigerator is cycling. By the end of 30 days, the difference in daily consumption compared to the same window the previous month will be measurable enough to see on paper. This is not dramatic. It will not feel like a magic trick. It will feel like a quiet correction, a small steady return of money that was always being taken without justification. That is exactly what it is. Sebastian Ferranti identified reactive power and its correction in 1887. The electrical engineering world has possessed the complete blueprint for over 130 years. Every major commercial facility on Earth uses it. Every industrial plant with significant motor load deploys it as a financial baseline. The engineers the utility companies hire to build their substations implement it as a matter of routine. Regular homeowners were kept out of that conversation, not because the physics were too complex, not because the materials were dangerous or unavailable, because the moment ordinary people understand that a $3 spool of wire can eliminate the phantom charge on their electric bill, $27 billion a year in annual utility profit evaporates. The grid operators know what reactive power is. They understand what a power factor means. They require their commercial customers to correct it by contract. And they have mailed monthly statements to 120 million residential accounts for over a century without mentioning it once. $3. 80 feet of copper wire. For minutes of winding. 30 days of patience. That is the full distance between the inflated bill you have been paying your entire life and the corrected bill you should have had since the day the grid went live in your neighborhood. The vault is open. Use it. If this changed the way you see your monthly bill, hit the like button and send this to every homeowner you know. Every share puts this back in front of a family that has been absorbing this phantom charge without knowing it existed. Every new subscriber helps us keep prying open the vault on the next buried fix. Subscribe to Buried DIY Secrets and turn on notifications. The next one we are dropping goes even deeper than this.